CST is playing the Florida game tonight at 7, and we've had Dick Dixon on. We had Stelt on actually after you. Keela Williams is set to join us, and so it's been fun reliving that game. And I've talked about it throughout this show, Matt. There's so many things that happened in that game that I kind of completely forgot about, like us sucking on offense for the first 2 quarters.
I know. It was fun to go back and rewatch it. We've done a couple of things media related, you and I, where we've kind of gone through like the last drive and different things like that. But I don't think I've gone back and rewatched that game since watching the game tape of it the week after we played it. So when we went back, I think you were in the middle of talking and I was watching it live, and you could just see the expression on my face, like, oh man, that was bad. That was a bad throw or bad play, or man, we sucked. We just didn't play real well that first half, and played a couple of games like that year. But we were second half kids. But it was that was fun to go back and rewatch it, and we just kind of scrolled through each of our memories from the hotel before the pregame meal, walking down the hill, just the pregame antics of the rivalry. So it was fun to kind of relive all that and just kind of see it again. And boy, did we look young.
We did, and one of the things that I forgot about was how much we missed Early Doucette that year. And I remember Early getting hurt, and I remember the moment when he got hurt in a walkthrough, and that's crazy that it was a walkthrough where he got hurt, but it was just one of those freak deals. And that was our go-to guy. That was the 5-star receiver. That was the #1 recruit in Louisiana. We all know how good of a football player Early Doucette was, and there's a lot of big games we didn't have him that year. And in this game, going back and watching it, I didn't realize how much JoJo LaFell and Demetrius Byrd stepped up and kind of grew up in this game.
Yeah, they did, and that was, losing Early that year was a huge loss because the whole passing game went through him. I mean, he was the only veteran receiver that we had, and ultra talented. So, he was that. His body type. He was that guy receiver that we worked him a lot in the slot. We'd work him outside, inside. We'd flip him. We'd rotate him. He was the guy that passing game went through that we were trying to create matchups with. And a lot of good teams, have that guy. But when we lost him, I mean, we lost him for a handful of weeks, but even when he came back, he still wasn't 100% healthy. And then that game, you kind of look at the receiving core. We had good talent out there, but all younger guys. I mean, we had a redshirt sophomore, Brandon LaFell. We had maybe it was a true freshman, Tolliver. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was.
Jared Mitchell was a big part of the offense that night. You're welcome, baseball, for us letting you as well. But it was just one of those games where we were off rhythm, and I don't know if it was just the magnitude of the game in the first half, or still kind of first big game for a lot of these young guys. Don't know really what it was, but it was certainly a shakeup, and we missed them a lot. But man, we still had some very talented younger guys.
One of the things, and you just mentioned it there, not necessarily the first big game against a big opponent, but to your point, it was the first game where we were behind. We trailed by double digits for most of that contest, really until the end. And so some guys had to grow up because they've never been in that uncomfortable situation of being behind one of those top-tier SEC opponents like the older veteran guys. But we didn't have a lot of those veteran guys, to your point, that game because Early's hurt. You got sophomores and freshmen, and even Dick Dixon was a sophomore in that game. And so our playmakers, our go-to guys were all underclassmen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and D. Bird became a playmaker that year, but to that point, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Or it just hadn't shown up yet, at least. And, of course, we'd already played in some big games, but, this was going into that game was the first game where everyone really knew that it was the first time we had an even matchup on our hands from a talent perspective, from all of that, from top to bottom. Yeah, we had some good games. We played Virginia Tech, but we knew we were better than Virginia Tech and more talented. South Carolina, the same. We had some games, but this was that game where, all right, night game. There's 7 million people on the walk down the hill.
7 million, you count?
Yeah, it was a lot. But it was that game, and D Bird stepped up. Throughout that season, I got more comfortable with him. He got more comfortable, and so he ended up kind of stepping in that place and having some senior leadership, or not senior leadership, but upperclassmen leadership.
All right, kind of the theme of the day as well, not only talking about this game coming up on CST tonight, but also as we look at the 2020 season, just guys getting back on campus. June 8th is about the time that you would return, but you're the quarterback, and you had to have those individual throwing sessions, those 7-on-7s. Coaches can't be out there. You had to be the guy that got all those things together. How important were those throwing sessions just for you, playing quarterback and getting that timing down as Myles Brennan tries to do right now with his receivers and backs?
Yeah, you kind of look at how this whole COVID situation has effect. Let's not really look at like how it could affect us in the future or in the fall, but let's just think about what's already happened. I don't really think that college football or football players have lost a lot. I don't think they've missed a whole lot of growth opportunities. Of course, spring practice is important, but I think we all kind of know my feelings on spring practice. It's once spring practice is done, you never think about it again. So I just don't think there's been a whole lot lost.
Right.
Now, getting back on campus with the voluntary workouts and everything, this is really the time where the team starts to build. That chemistry starts to get set. So for Myles, for all the receivers, working with Myles and everything that comes with that, everything with the offense, it's hugely important for them to get out there. For Myles to kind of show the leadership. He hadn't been able to show the leadership yet. That's one thing that, spring would have helped with. All right, that's Myles Brennan's voice in the huddle every time.
Yeah.
That's Myles Brennan's snap count. Oh, this is the guy that's telling us what to do every single play. So that's going to take it'll take a couple of days to get used to, of course, but summer's when you do it. And, this is, all, as you know, Jacob, like all the good teams, the great teams that have been to LSU always had great summer preparation.
Yeah.
They had great attendance. They had great leadership. There's been years, and, even after we were done and we'd come back during the summer and watch them, where they'd be serious for 20 minutes and it'd be a little horsing around, or they didn't get great attendance. The best teams that we've had have always been all in with these summer workouts and getting together. So, that's what you kind of hope to see. And I would expect to see it, especially kind of now after this past year in 2019, the precedence has been set. The bar has been set. So everyone knows what to expect. They just have to know that there's a leader there.
All right, Matt, before we get you out of here, what is that MyHigh website that our listeners can go to order that MyHigh?
DrinkMyHigh.com. That's drinkmyhy.com. Tells you all about the product, the science, the history, why it's great, and you can order it right there online.
Did you just get your salesman voice? Did you just go?
I did. Did you hear it?
Oh, man.
It was like my Greg McElroy announcer voice.
Oh, I've never really heard it before.
Did you like it?
It was okay. It was decent for the first try.
I appreciate it.
In fact, I hope that, some point next week, next couple of weeks, that you're essential so we can hear that announcer voice here on the show.
I can't wait, man.
I can bug you all day.
I miss you guys. I heard the huddle's being taken down. Is that right?
Yeah, Gordy and Moscona took care of that. Yep.
I'm just going to call it BS. That is BS.
You said it, and I feel it. That's exactly right. All right, brother. Appreciate it.
Guys.
See you soon.
All right, man.